morning, you guys. I just wanted to come and talk about how we talk to our kids. I was having a conversation this morning with my daughter on the way to drop her off at the bus stop, and I'll wait with her till the bus comes. And we were talking about money. And so for a little bit of context, because I also want to have a dialogue with her on camera, so it can give you a better idea of how we talk and specifically what we talk about as it relates to just responsibility, accountability, money, that kind of thing. Because I know when I was growing up, my parents, man, they made some significant strides in establishing things for us that they never had. So when I was, not when I was born, but when I was little, so maybe like in elementary school, my parents opened me a savings account, and they would save money in there for years. And at some point, I got the account and of course messed it up. But what I learned was my parents would tell me to save, but not why. What am I saving for? What am I working towards? What do I use this for? Like, I didn't know the purpose. I didn't know the intention behind it. But again, my parents did something so much greater than what they had. They didn't have even that. So now, as a mom, one of the things I did as soon as my kids were born, well, my husband and I did, not just me, as soon as our kids were born, is we opened them savings accounts. Now, this is where I took it to the next step compared to what I had, was we put money in their accounts every month, every time we get paid. The other thing that we do is we save money in their piggy banks. Drop a 20 here or there. Like, I try to do it once a month. Drop a 20, drop a 10. When I have some extra ones, drop it in there, have some change. That stuff adds up, you guys. My dad used to do it where all of his change, he would put in his huge 10, and at the end of the year, he would let us go cash it out. So just dropping money. And then on their birthdays, so it's my son's second birthday, so he'll do it this year. We'll take him to the bank and do it. But for my daughter, every year, all the money she saves throughout the year, and that we make her save too, so I'm going to add to that. So we drop money in there, but also the rule is she gets allowance. So she gets $4 a week, $5 if she does a little extra, meaning straighten up the playroom. That's her extra. Straighten up the playroom, do a little dishes or something like that, like something we assign to her. But her chores currently are to make sure before she goes to bed and before she leaves the house, her room is picked up, meaning no clothes on the floor. Her desk is pretty organized. There's no trash, that kind of thing. That once a week, or really throughout the week as much as she can, straighten up the shoes. We take off our shoes when we come in the house. So her job is to make sure the shoes are straight. The other is her bathroom. She's responsible for making sure she keeps the bathroom as it was cleaned as much as possible. So picking up her dirty clothes, if there's towels, she puts those in the dirty clothes. That's it. Wipe out the sink if she has toothpaste in there. It's simple. Nothing hardcore, nothing harsh. That's the money she earns for her chores. She can earn $4, and it went up $1 this year when she turned 8. So now she can earn up to $5 if she does something a little extra. So out of that $5, she can keep $3 or $4 depending on the week, but she always has to put something in the kitty, meaning something in her savings. She has a savings that not her investments and stuff, because she has investments accounts. So that's the other thing I've also stepped up on, is investments and savings. But she has a savings account, or a bank that she can't get in, that she puts part of her money in when she gets her allowance, teaching her how to save and why to save. So part of her allowance goes in there. On her birthday every year, we take all the money out, we let her count it, we take her to the bank, let her deposit it in her savings account so she understands where her money is going. The other is I've started to show her investment accounts. because she has a few investment accounts, and she has savings accounts that I've turned into CDs. So once she saves a certain amount of money, if it hasn't already gone in an investment account, it goes into a CD to matriculate over time. And what I'm teaching her is, this is how you pay for college. This is how we buy you a house when you get of age and you can make money while you're doing everything you're doing anyway. This is how you invest in your business ideas. This is how you save to go on trips that you really want, or save for the house you really want when you get older and you get out of college. This is how this is what now my next step, and like how I'm taking that dream further, is teaching her the why, teaching her the how, teaching her the different ways you matriculate money over time and what that looks like. So this morning we were talking about her. Let me add to that. My daughter has written and published one book too. Now I have to finish that. But the book that she published, I created a coloring book for it. So she now has a coloring book that pairs with her book that she wrote. Her book is published on Amazon. Her book makes money off of Amazon every single month. So every single month, we check the report, which we did yesterday. She gets 10% of whatever her book made in her hand. The other 90% goes in her bank account, which technically went in her investment account. So it's a split. She always gets to see a right now immediate benefit, and she gets to invest her money. It is a both and scenario. So she sees the immediate, she gets the immediate benefit. She feels, oh my God, I made money. And she also can see the growth over time, with most of it being invested in an investment account. Part of the reason I do the split this way is because she's only 8. When she gets a little bit older, we'll make the split a little bit less in her investment and more in her hand. Like 20% or something like that. But I'm never going to make it 50, because she's going to blow it. That's what kids do. They want to meet their immediate needs. That's just how developmentally where they are. Heck, developmentally, that's where a lot of adults are. That's neither here nor there, including me sometimes, because that's how my impulsivity works. That's okay. So dividing it up really helps her see the money over time without taking away from the benefit of her meeting her immediate need to like make money. So the other part to this is doing vending events for her. I just did a vending event for myself, and I always take her books. So she sold 4 books. She got $40. I let her keep 10 of those dollars. It was a little more this time. Just for mathematical purposes. I let her keep 10 of the 40, the other 30 went in her investment account. This helps her build money over time. She's not doing anything extra than she already did. She only wrote the book one time. She makes the money every single month off of her book. She makes money every single month off of that book. I don't care if it's 1 book sold, 2 books sold. She sold 27 books this last month. 27 books. So this is to help her build wealth. She likes to write. She asked me to write a book because I have been talking to her about it. And to be honest, she got the idea from my best friend, Charmise, to write the book, because Charmise, when Charmise wrote her book, which she was one of the people that inspired me to get back into book writing after I wrote my first book. That was a mess because I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just glad to say that I did it. Thank you, Grandma, for that. That was one of my gifts. My grandma gave me the gift of, she paid for my book, everything, editing, for it to be published, the whole deal. I'm not going to say through who, because I don't think they were a great company. They were not very helpful to me being a new artist, being a new author. But my grandmother was a seasoned author, so she went through them, and I see why she chose them. She knew what she was doing. I did not. She paid for everything for me to do it, and I was able to publish my first book. And that was years in between I published again. So my inspiration was my best friend Charmise publishing a children's book, and she wanted my daughter to do some marketing for her. And when she was doing it, she said, well, who wrote this book? I said, well, Auntie Mies wrote this book. She said, what? Auntie Niece wrote this. Mom, I want to write a book. So that started her gears in I want to write a book. And I was really excited that it was her idea. One of the things I really invest in with my kids is their personhood and nurturing the things that matter to them and their strengths. So she loves to write. She has so many creative ideas. And so I try to be very nurturing and caring to that. And encouraging to that. So her book, she wrote. What I asked her to do was sit down, get her a notebook, and come up with ideas. So we sat down and I just started to ask her questions. So what do you want to write your book about? How to be a good friend. I think it's really important to be a good friend. So then I said, okay, then we need to talk about, in your book, you're going to talk about or tell people what they can do to be a good friend. That is literally how the book happened. She started writing her ideas down. That's it. It's not hard. It's really not hard. And then I got the illustrations done, did the publishing, all of that. But we did that one time, and she has been making money ever since. So please invest in your kids' ideas and their passions and their purpose and the things that they're interested in, because you can monetize those ideas. And not every idea or passion or interest or hobby needs to be monetized, but a lot of them can be, especially because they're going to do it anyway and they're having fun at it. One of the other things, she has another idea that we're going to work through and try to follow through on this summer. I just have to talk to some people about trying to make it happen, but I'll throw that idea out and post it for her when she gets that done, hopefully this summer. But helping her learn how to do the things she wants to do. No, not everything is about making money, but it's also about the lessons that come with her doing it. She's learning discipline, she's learning accountability, she's learning responsibility, she's learning the value of money, she's creating a healthy relationship with money. I did not have a healthy relationship with money up until recently, in the last couple years, and I'm not healthier because I'm still working on it. And for those of you who may need a resource or a tool, my accountant recommended the book Get Rich Bitch, and so I haven't finished it. I'm still working on that book, but she recommended that book because I realized my relationship with money was very tumultuous, and I still struggle with that. And I don't want that for her. I don't want her to have a tumultuous relationship with money, because that it can be the projection of so many other things. But I say all of that to say, because I didn't run around the world, and that's kind of how I do sometimes, go around the world. I say all that to say, invest in their ideas. Invest in their passions. Invest in their interests. And it may be short-lived. Don't worry about that. Don't focus on it trying to be their lifelong dream. Just let them live and be present. They create beauty. They are so creative and innovative. Their minds are they're far more progressed than us because they have freedom. As adults, we become so limited. We become so limited just based on living. We've become limited in the things that we're responsible for. We've become limited, but children are free, so much freer than we are. So follow that. Let them do that. It doesn't have to be there for everything, but let them follow their right now thing, and let that be okay. Don't make it about you. But I definitely will be posting. I'll ask her if she was okay with having a conversation on camera about how we talk about money, and it's kind of essentially having the conversation on camera, basically, that we had this morning, because I was also talking to her about how she can be a good friend, but not allow people to misuse her kindness or abuse her kindness. Setting boundaries, that's important, and that's necessary to be a healthy person. I have those kind of conversations with her very candidly, because she's 8, but she's articulate and she understands. And she may not understand everything, but I'm also planting seeds. So whether she understands everything or not, the seeds are being planted. And I will consistently water them and consistently nurture them to make sure when it is time for it to click, it will. When it's time for her to put it into action, she will be able to. So this is just a moment of parenting today. I have a parenting book that I absolutely love, and I haven't been marketing well. But it's tips for parenting. Look at Sade O'Rourke on Amazon. It is on Amazon, but it's a parenting book. Tips to figuring this shit out, because parenting is a growing and maturing and evolving experience. Depending on, it's different for every child, one, and then how you do it changes generationally. You get to do something different and better than your parents were able to through the generations. I'm sure she'll do much better than me. That's what I'm hoping and investing in. But I hope this was encouraging to you, and you're doing a great job. You know, I still have some guilt sometime as a parent. I still have those feelings of not doing enough, not, being good enough as a mom. I try to check in with my kids like, hey, you think I'm being a good mom? What could I do better? Because I need the feedback to do my very best. I want to know what I'm doing well. Sometimes I lose my shit. I have to apologize quite frequently, sometimes every damn day. Because even when I'm doing my best, it's just not good enough. But because I've been blessed with such a privileged opportunity, it is overwhelming at times, the amounts of responsibility and accountability that we have for the lives that we bring into this world. So just hear me when I say you are doing your best. And if you're not and you need support, don't be afraid to ask for it. Don't be afraid to get feedback from your friends or someone you trust, that even if they're not the version of parent that you want to see, that they also have a perspective to offer. Because we often think, well, you're not doing you're not the best version of what I'm looking for, but that doesn't also mean I don't have a great perspective that would be supportive to where you're trying to go. We don't ask doctors, if you're trying to talk to me about diabetes, do you have diabetes? How are you managing your diabetes? That's not how it works. They may have a great perspective that helps us grow. So don't be afraid to grow. That's not a bad thing. That's an amazing thing. Don't be afraid to be wrong. I know it can be scary. I know it's scary for me sometimes. It requires a lot of vulnerability to be wrong. It requires a lot of vulnerability to be accountable, but it is something that is necessary to help us be the best version, not only for ourselves, but for our kids. The best version of ourselves, so we feel good about us, so we have peace and we have joy, and we can be kind, and we can be kind more importantly to ourselves, where we can give ourselves grace, where we can forgive ourselves, where we can go through this world not miserable, where we can again find happiness and joy in our moment-to-moment experience, where we can be present for ourselves, not thinking through till next week. We can actually be in the moment we're in and enjoy it. So again, I hope this was helpful to you. I plan on doing more. I love talking on my car rides because it's quiet, it's peaceful. It's actually a beautiful ride going across the water. So I will have more of these coming to you. Thank you so much for listening. Like and subscribe. I will talk to you soon. Peace.